Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Chelsea Explained, as this is your match preview ahead of Chelsea and Esperance Tunis. And in this video, my two main talking points is going to be around why Maresca's squad management is quite worrying for me, and also why I didn't like Maresca's experiment against Flamengo. My first talking point, which is why I'm worried about Maresca's squad management, and we can start with talking about tactics and player roles, because he's very obsessed with continuing with the same structure, tactics, patterns, plays in certain roles that can't fulfill those roles, but despite that, he's gonna force them there for multiple weeks and months. For example, James playing as a midfielder when he can't execute that role, playing Gusto as an inverted wingback, playing Robert Sanchez as a sweeper keeper. He needs to stop with that, because you're just wasting their time, their development, and it's affecting our performances. I also feel like he's very obsessed with having control, dominating possession, going sideways, backwards, and I understand why he's doing that. But it's to the extreme where we have the opportunity to take more risk, but we're not doing that. Maresca is not really adapting to the players' strength and trying to change things when we can see we are pretty easy to defend against. We are pretty predictable. Teams are figuring us out, and he needs to come up with new ideas how they can make certain movement rotations, how we can take more risk to be less predictable and therefore create better scoring opportunities. It feels like he has installed in his mind that, you know what, I'm gonna stick with it no matter what. It just has to work and be this way. Maresca really wants to play the same 11, the same players most of the times, game after game. We are very lucky that Palmer, Caicedo, Cucurella hasn't sustained any major injuries so far. There have been scenarios and situations where Maresca could have turned to our squad players, where we could have rotated a bit. For example, during December, January period with tight schedules, during the Club World Cup now, in our first game, second game, we see if he's gonna rotate later today against Esperance Tunis, which he has hinted with in his press conference. But for example, against Flamengo, it was a perfect opportunity to give Andre Santos, Josh Chimpong minutes. Why have they been brought in if you barely trust them, barely give them minutes? I feel like Maresca got massive trust issues. I can understand if there are certain players you don't trust that was signed that you never asked for. Then you need to stop being a yes man. You need to go talk to the hierarchy above you and tell you, I don't want these players. They're not suiting my tactic and I never asked for them. I need these type of profiles. Can you go and find them for me? There are players he could turn to, like Andre Santos, Isugo, etc. now. I mean, we have massive talented players, and I know they're gonna take some time to adapt. They have been brought in for a purpose, for reasons, and they are talented, they are good enough. Most of these guys are gonna suit Maresca's system, and it was a perfect opportunity this Club World Cup to rotate heavily, because we are superior than the teams in a group stage. Imagine if you have been bought by Chelsea, you're a squad player. Fine enough, you're a squad player. I mean, you're not gonna receive those desired minutes you want. There is ahead of you that is playing every single minute, that is getting almost burned out, that is dropping in performances. As a player, you can slot into different roles that suits the manager's style of play, but you're still not getting game time. Like, what can you do? At some point, you're gonna get tired, you're gonna get unhappy, and you're gonna hand in a transfer request. And also, if players is not receiving minutes, they're gonna be less match sharp when they finally get the opportunity, and therefore they're gonna have poor performances. They're not gonna adapt to the team and learn the tactics. They're gonna struggle in the system. My second talking point is going to be around why I didn't like Maresca experimenting against Flamengo. Of course, as a manager, you should try to experiment, but I don't think you should do that against the toughest opponent in the group stage, and especially not playing James as a midfielder. Let's say we're gonna experiment, but then utilize players in their best positions or roles. Like you could have experimented, but you could have started with the Sugo under Santos instead. And Maresca got questioned in the press conference how we felt around experimenting. His answer was just, I don't know if it was the right opportunity. This was not the right opportunity to do that. It was a massive risk to take. I mean, if we would have played normally and got a result against Flamengo, we could have been top of the group, and then we could have had an easier route to the Club World Cup final. I can see the benefits of Maresca's tactics. I can see the potential, but I don't know if it's gonna live up here at Chelsea. I don't know if him as a person, as a manager, if his stubbornness, I feel like that's gonna be a hindrance to where we can potentially go. If he were to loosen things up a bit and not be so focused on having control of every single detail, have a bit more balance. In terms of what I would do in the lineup, I want to rotate a bit. I feel like we also had to play some of our best players because Maresca has put us in this situation where we have to win. But at the same time, we have a squad strong enough to beat the Tunisian side. I'm gonna go with Jorgensen the goal again. I don't see the point of wasting Sanchez when he cannot execute that role. George Ashbong will start with Tosin and Badiashile. Quite heavy rotations here. I mean, Colwill, James was ill. James need to rest a bit. We can bring him on in the second half if we need to change the game around. I would trust Josh because he can execute this role. Gusto cannot, so I will stop forcing him there. Tosin and Badiashile should be able to do the job. We're gonna have Cucurella starting again. We don't have any backup. We splashed so much money, but we still don't have a backup option for Cucurella. Cucurella is gonna have to start and invert into midfield, and I will have Lavia there. I would rest Caicedo. Bring him to the second half if you need to. Lavia has been rested now, and he can absolutely play in that role. Enzo Fernandez occupying the left half space, although I wouldn't mind seeing Kieran Dewsbury-Hall or Andre Santos be giving game time. In the front four, I'm gonna make two changes here as well. Madueke will be on the right hand side. He didn't start in a previous game. I will rest Neto and start Tyreek George. I'm always gonna trust our academy boys because I know they are talented and they're showing great determination, work ethic and hunger to win games. Palmer and Delap is gonna have to start. As I say, we're gonna have to go with some continuity, and the four players that's gonna add that is Cucurella, Fernandez, Palmer and Delap. Really liking Nkunku, but it's not worth playing him if it's not suiting the way Maresca wants to play. Then you can play Kieran Dewsbury-Hall there instead. You can bring in Mark Yu in the second half if we're also leading and Delap is completely exhausted. If you're not trusting them, you're gonna have to tell the board to sell them, offload them. Because what's the point anyway? Then we're just wasting everyone's time. Let me know, please guys, in the comments down below how you feel around Maresca's squad management. Do you feel like we should be worried, or do you think it's completely okay? Let me know that. And thank you so much for watching, and Chelsea Explain is out. Peace.